Hello and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I am Luana Bradford, and I'm excited because we have another leadership great in the house, none other than Mosongo Moukwa. And we're going to be talking about what it means to be a leader in today's environment. In fact, his book is called Be a Leader of Significance, right? And we all want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be relevant, but he challenges some of the traditions when it comes to how leaders show up, what their primary focus is, and how we might be able to challenge that so that we empower the organization to really be this organization of community, of humanity, of innovation, and creativity. And we will be back in a moment so that you can meet Monsongo. But first, I want you to have a quick introduction by the man of the hour.
As a small business owner, you are looking to grow your business. You are looking for financial independence. You are looking to leave a legacy for your children and spend time with your loved ones. My name is Mosongo Moukwa. Small business owners hire me to help them uncover overlooked business opportunities that will help them increase the revenue. And we have seen that some of them can increase the revenue in the multiple of 6 figures. And this is without adding marketing spend. Our strategies and processes, which has been proven to deliver measurable results, provide that support to the small business owners. We help them to go from where they are to where they would like to be, and that is my mission. I have 30 years in senior leadership position with global companies. I've built organizations, but what I've discovered over my journey is that what drives me is to make a difference in people's lives, believing in them and helping them discover their true potential. So for me, it's not business as usual. So if you are ready to take on this journey of growth and transformation, reach out to me.
Here we go.
As a small business owner, you are looking to grow your business. You are looking for financial independence. You are looking to leave a legacy for your children and spend time with your loved ones. My name is Mosongo Moukwa. Small business owners hire me to help them uncover overlooked business opportunities that will help them increase the revenue. And we have seen that some of them can increase the revenue in the multiple of 6 figures. And this is without adding marketing spend. Our strategies and processes, which has been proven to deliver measurable results, provide that support to the small business owners. We help them to go from where they are to where they would like to be, and that is my mission. I have 30 years in senior leadership position with global companies. I've built organizations, but what I've discovered over my journey is that what drives me is to make a difference in people's lives, believing in them and helping them discover their true potential. So for me, it's not business as usual. So if you are ready to take on this journey of growth and transformation, reach out to me.
Hey, Monsongo, how's it going?
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Lawanda, for having me on your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for saying yes, taking time out of your busy schedule. And we're going to pack a lot into this short time that we have together. So you want to challenge the notion of there is life beyond the bottom line. There's more things. The bottom line we know is important, right? That fuels commerce, but there's more than just looking at the dollars and cents of things when it comes to business. Can you unpackage that for us a little bit?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. That is a great question. Now, what people expect from organization has not really changed, even today in somewhat of an uncertain time. At the heart of any organization, there is our need for connection. Actually, human beings, we yearn for connection. We need that connection, the belonging, and growth. And what I've seen over my years working with corporation and helping small business owners is that when leaders tap into those basic human desire, they can help others achieve extraordinary things and create meaningful and lasting impact. That's why I wrote the book that you mentioned earlier there, which is Be a Leader of Significance. And that's really, I mean, I've learned that the true measure of leadership is not in the numbers. It's actually in the daily actions that will ignite the potential in others, that will inspire them to overcome challenges and help them achieve more than they actually thought possible. So in the book, I wanted to share my journey, offer some insight and actionable practices that will help leaders actually create those moments of significance for those who are in their care. So that's really why I wrote the book.
I like what you said. It's really about a leader who people willingly follow, right? Are able to see and hear their community, but also they help empower and equip them to expand to become who they were destined to be, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because that engagement is really the lifeblood of the organization. Now, what are the people are looking for in organization? Number one, they're looking for a sense of belonging. Years ago, I used to work to run a research organization, and I asked one of the scientists, "What is it here in this organization that make you come here every day to work?" And I expected they would tell me, "Oh, we are working on great projects. We're going to invent, the latest technology and so on." No, what he told me is that I like coming here because I like playing ping pong with Mike during lunchtime. And then I asked him, well, why that is so? He said, well, because I get to talk to him, we go to laugh and so on. So what that told me is that there is that need of the sense of belonging, the sense of affiliation. That is extremely important. The second thing that is important is what psychologists are calling psychological safety. So I remember there was a young lady many years ago. She was in the marketing department, and she then got transferred into my group. And then she was telling me that when she was in that department, in the beginning, everybody was excited to have her there, inviting her in meetings and so on. And then over time, she found that she was no longer invited in meetings. And then, people were no longer making good comments about her and so on. And then my question to her is that why did you not go and ask whoever was your supervisor, why is it that I'm no longer invited in those meetings? She told me, she said, I felt invisible. I did not even feel like I needed to go and ask. So psychological safety is extremely important. And the last one I would say is that employee needs to feel value. Value does not mean always a paycheck or an increase. I remember this gentleman many years ago. He was a manager in my department, and then he told me one day. He said that I was walking in the corridor, and I did mention to him. I said, "Hey, John, I want you to know that I did not forget about you." He said that comment for him was, which I did not realize at the time. He told me, but that comment meant a lot for him because he felt in a way that he felt value, that he felt that he was contributing somewhere into a mission that was much, much bigger than he thought. So those elements are really important. And I hope the book encourages leaders to focus on the human connection side of leadership, so that they could reflect their own value, purposes, and create a legacy that matters, not just in numbers, but in the lives and experiences of people that they are leading.
Yeah, I like how you said that, because I believe that when you can touch and transform one life, you've changed the next generation, right? Because that person is going to go home differently,
Yes.
right? They're going to have a better
Yes.
state of wellness, like you mentioned, the psychological safety. If we don't feel safe, then we unleash somewhere, right? And it may not always be in the healthiest of manners.
Yes.
But if we can look at, as you said, the human element.
Yes.
And I want to ask you this question because we're talking about the human centricity,
Yes.
but yet everyone's scared about AI.
Yes.
What would you say to leaders today and even entrepreneurs today? We know it's a tool, but we keep hearing it's going to take over. We're going to be regulated by robots.
Yes.
What would you say?
Well, let's look at today's context, Lawan. This is a great question. This is I love the way you're putting those questions. Now, if you look at AI, artificial intelligence indeed is transforming everything about the work. In fact, the recent McKinsey survey found that over 30% of employees expect to use generative AI for more than 30% of their tasks. And this for within a year. But then we also have that, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more than 1.5 million people have been laid off, frankly, in in recent months. Inflation is still there, tightening up margin. And 3 in 4 employees say that financial stress, is affecting their focus. So we are dealing with all these things here. So I would say that that AI can analyze data, but only leaders can actually inspire purpose. So while people are going through those transformations, it's come to the leader now to explain in what way that AI may affect their activity or not affect their activities. So you have to get the people involved. AI is just a tool, but the leader is the one that will create the engagement, that will create all the trust and so on. Because technology can amplify performance, but not empathy. Actually, the differentiator today is not IQ, the intelligence quotient, is really the emotional quotient, which is the EQ.
Yes.
So that's what it is here. So because at the end of the day, effective leaders, they're the one building relationship, and that is built through human connections. They're creating the environment where people feel confident enough to bring their authentic selves to work. So that's really what I would say. So for me, AI can analyze data, but only leaders can inspire purpose.
Yeah, I like that. That's huge. And I hope people that are watching lean into that, because a machine is a machine, and we understand that we feed it information. It is learning, right? It's a learning model, but the inspiration part, right? The creative part, the what makes us human part,
yes,
AI cannot do.
Yes, absolutely. And the other aspect that you spoke about is the overall instability. Obviously, in this context of instability, it's my belief that the purpose, not the title, is really what will keep teams resilient. So during economic uncertainty, work might often feel transactional, but employees are still craving that meaning more than money at the end of the day. So the leader then begins, you begin to impact people when you begin, you impact people when you remind people why their work matters.
Yes.
So which means that you as a leader, you must commit to something bigger than yourself. That way your goals will excite people, it will inspire people around you. So that's really what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think in times of crises, uncertainty, the leaders are really defined. It's easy when things are good and everyone just follows along the Pied Piper. But in times of crises, it's like I was thinking about. I love history, but I was thinking in World War II, in the UK, in Britain, how the king and queen, what made them so relatable to the people was they went to where the people were.
Yes. Yes.
right? They saw the bombed out homes and communities, and they were even conscious about what they wore and how they showed up. Even Queen Elizabeth, she got married during that time, was very guarded about how she presented herself because she knew that people were struggling. And I think when we have leaders who aren't empathetic and aren't able to lean into that EQ, as you mentioned, it can create more pandemonium, right?
Yes.
Rather than calm. Yes. I want to read something in here. I thought this was interesting, a statement that you put in your book. And I want you to help us to dissect it. So we're speaking to you leaders out there, if you're in corporate or leader of your own company, entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You said a mission is not something someone else assigns, but something you assign to yourself.
Yes.
When you're on a mission, you're fiercely determined in pursuit of a specific, important, and significant goal.
Yes.
And most people think, hey, I come and I find out what the mission is and I just do the mission. But you're saying you assign it to yourself. So help us to unpackage that.
Yeah. I mean, you must be driven by a mission. Right? So because that mission, that purpose is actually magnetic. Is the one that will hold people together when everything else shifts. So when you articulate a vision, but a shared vision, then teams begin to move from what I would say from fear to focus. So that then in that case you don't just deliver results, you actually restore meaning there. So early in my career, my corporate career, I was focused, like most leaders, on metrics, profit margin, KPIs, and so on. But if you tell people we're going to, our goal is to improve our P, profit earning by so much, that does not inspire anybody. But if you tell them that, hey, we're going to put a man on the moon, or we want to be the first company to put this electrical vehicle there on the road, then now people they begin to imagine what that future will look like. So once I began connecting our goals to a larger vision, why our innovation mattered for the people, then the engagement really soared. So purpose created really that alignment, and alignment created results.
Yeah, I like that, and I love the quick example you said. Putting a man on the moon, because that's one of NASA's business models, is that no matter who you spoke to in the organizational chain, if you said what is our mission, all of them said we're going to put a man on the moon.
Yes.
And like you said, it's that inspiration, right? As to why we do what we do. And I want to ask you about that, because now, and you and I've talked about it previously, businesses more than ever are leading intentionally in how they give back to society, how they give back to humanity. Why is that so important today? Why is it important for us to know what they're doing beyond moving, goods and services?
Well, I think it's important for us to know, because that gives a dimension to the individual. Because at the end of the day, I would like to think that us as a leader, even if we're running a company, we want to make money for the company and so on, but we must be driven to a much bigger goal. It could be, my mission is really to service my community, or my mission is really to unleash the potential to others. So there must be an overriding mission there, so that the money that we are making from the company, either our own or somebody else's company, it becomes means to something much, much bigger. And then the other piece that I like for leaders also to contemplate is that in addition to that mission, for them also to be involved in some kind of a charity, because giving money to whatever charity there, something that is meaningful for them, and they should be able to express it. So I'm running company XYZ, and my mission is really to unleash the potential of people, and so that I'm also involved in some charity. From in my own case, we obviously have been very successful in my venture, but really my mission is really at the end of the day to help individuals unleash their potential. I feel we have put here on earth with our own purposes, and then we need to find a way of discovering that purpose, reconnect with it, and then my mission is that to help people achieve meaningful life through that connection with their purposes. So that's really my mission. Obviously, I'm running those ventures; they're very successful and so on. But that's really what it is. And then the charity. Well, I'm involved. There's one charity that I've been supporting for many years. I was born in the Congo. The eastern part has always been a troubled area, lots of wars, and then the victims have been mostly women and the children. And there is this Japanese lady who has taken as a mission to try to give hope to women and girls through music. So she has been teaching music to people who have never played any musical instrument. But the idea is not for them to become a musician, but through music, she's trying to create hope because they just had a very hard life. So this is what I'm encouraging leaders to have an overriding mission, and then get involved in some charity that is really giving a great deal of fulfillment, and then at the same time you're also helping people.
I love that. We're almost out of time. I want to conclude with. We definitely have to have you back. Like I said, this book needs its own show, maybe a series. But you mentioned the life-giving forces of an organization. I want to read these out to our audience, and then I'd like you to take some time to just talk about them.
Yes.
The life-giving forces, you said, emotional connection, which we've talked about, challenges, having the passion to succeed, drive for excellence, desire to innovate, belief in self and others, and recognition. What would you like to say as we get ready to close out?
Well, I mean, first of all, us as individuals, there are a few things that is making us alive. So the question is, you as an individual, what is enlivening it there? And you learn that through the story of people. So if you ask them, you say, remember a time where you became alive, whether it's at your personal life or at your professional life. And just tell me the story. And one exercise that I did is that I had the employee interview each other, asking the same question, and then coming back and related what did they learn. And that was a way for them to discover actually what is really getting these people tick. Because then you, as a leader in an organization, you can not capitalize. You can use that now to put them in a position where now they are really alive. So that's for the individual. For the organization also has a life. If you go to a company and you're walking through and you see all the doors are closed and so on, you know what the culture of that place is. If you go to another organization, you see the doors are open, people are going in and out, they're talking, you know what the sense of the organization is. So there is a life in organization. So the question is that as an organization, what is really making that organization alive? You ask employee, not from their point of view, but for the point of view of the organization. For example, sometimes you see when people are doing United Way, raising those funds, they're all excited and whatnot. But what is it there that put them in a way that so they are so much engaged as opposed to show the same excitement into their work? So once you understand that, then you can use that now and say, can we create that situation at the workplace so that we can create that energy? So that's really the life of the organization. And you can achieve it by interviewing people, but from the point of view of the life of the organization, you'll get clues on what you need to put in place and what you need to remove. In other words, what are the energizers and what are the de-energizers in the organization?
I like that. Can you believe it? We're out of time.
We are. Yeah, with this conversation, we would have continued. I'd love to continue this even one day on some coffee shop somewhere. But
Yes, yes.
that's what it is. Yeah, yes.
Well, I want individuals, you can follow Mosongo Moukwa on all things social media. He's very active on LinkedIn. You can purchase his book. It'll be a leader of significance, build your legacy, leave an impact by Mosongo Moukwa on Amazon. Definitely, if you are a leader in today's world and you want to build sustainability, resiliency, results that inspire, you really want to connect with Mosongo Moukwa. I mean, he's got a different lens in how he's looking at life, and we need leaders like him and others to help shift this uncertainty, bring hope, and empower individuals to be their best selves. Yes?
Yes, indeed. And just as a final word that I could put, I would say leadership of significance begins when you stop asking, what can I achieve? But instead start asking, who can I lift? That will be my final comment.
I love that. Thank you so much, Mosongo, for joining us, and wish you well in all that you do. And we will see everyone again for another edition of Power the Pen.
No, thank you so much. Great conversation. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
MLK Jr. stated, if you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write. Books are a uniquely portable magic. The Power of the Pen series spotlights authors from around the world. Listen to authors as they share words that educate, inspire, and entertain. Tune into Power of the Pen each Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on e360tv.com.
And I'm so excited because I have a very special guest who is a recent bestseller with his latest book called An Entrepreneur's Guide to Freedom, 7 Steps to Live Beyond Limits. And that's none other than Mark Rampolla. Mark, how's it going?
Doing great, Luana. Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed listening to some of your other interviews, and so I'm very honored to be here.
This is going to be great. It's going to be packed and tight, but we're going to get a lot unpackaged here.
Great.
So I want to tell the audience a little bit about you. Mark is an entrepreneur, a speaker, a coach, a mentor. He actually is the founder of Zika Coconut Water. If those of you are familiar with that, I know I have a couple in my refrigerator. And you are also the founder of Ground Force Capital.
Correct.
And I want to just ask you, with your journey, your entrepreneurial journey, what was it at this time that made you say, I need to write this particular book? Because you challenge the notion of how we achieve and live a freedom-filled life. Most people think, I do all the work, I do all the grinding, and ultimately I reach freedom. But you turn that totally on its head, and you're like, no. Freedom's a foundation. So can you walk us through that?
Oh, sure. Great question, Luana. Oh, boy. So I think, there's a phrase I remember from years ago. Teachers usually teach what they need to learn. I think that's true of many writers as well. And so I wrote what I needed. And so this was an exploration for me, because what my experience was, I built Zika over 9 years, and it was tough. It was a lot of work, a real grind. And I was in many ways a poster child of quote unquote success. I sold the business to Coca-Cola, made quite a bit of money, had a beautiful life ahead, so I thought. And as I looked back almost a decade later, I started to realize that I didn't feel successful, and I certainly didn't feel free. I was still struggling with racing for the next business, the next sale, the next investment, the next whatever. I was not really taking care of myself health-wise. I was frankly drinking quite a bit. My marriage, 20 plus years that I thought was going to go the distance, fell apart. And I started to look around and think, is this success? Is this what I had been working towards? When will I start to feel free? And so, as I work and have for many years with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I started to share my own story about realizing this sort of disconnect for what I thought was, oh, work, have a great idea, work really hard, make a ton of money, and then you'll be free, right? And I started to share that with a lot of other entrepreneurs, and I'd hear back, oh, me too. I've struggled with this. I've worried about this. And I realized that none of them were talking about it. And so I went on my own journey. So I spent about 7 years diving deep into psychology, coaching, neuroscience, ancient spirituality to sort of understand what did I believe and where did I kind of miss certain maybe lessons, and wound up sort of developing my own methodology for what worked for me to sort of hack this process in a way. And I realized that, most entrepreneurs people talk about three things needed for success: mindset, skill set, and tool set. And the skill set and the tool sets are usually specific to your industry, right? Real estate or brokerage or media or beverage in my case. The mindset, it's as if, just have a great mindset, right? How? So I started to develop and learn tools and skills to develop that mindset. And what I became to see myself is starting with freedom first was sort of the end, the proverbial start with the end in mind. If that's what I wanted, let's start with that now. And what I started to realize is as I built more freedom into my life and applied some of these tools and techniques, I just started to feel better. I started to feel more free, more open, more present. And I actually got better results at business at the same time. And so all of that work, I started applying it in my investment firm. I started to hear people say, what are you doing? You're so different. What's happening? And so I decided to formalize that in this book. But it was really my own writings, my own journaling, my own tools that I'd been using for about 7 years. And I decided, if this can be useful to one person, then I want to, it's worthy for me to, spend the time and effort to bring it out, because I learned so much from so many others. So if I can help even one, up and coming entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur that's struggling with this, I'm honored to do so. And that's where this began. One of the things that I encourage is that exactly what you said: know, own, and celebrate yourself. Because what I learned years ago when I worked for a corporation, I was following the playbook it was called a performance development roadmap, how to help everybody, sort of grow in their career and life. And I look back and realize, we were trying to create everyone to be, a Bill Gates or a Jesus Christ. So like, you got to be this kind, but yet tough. You got to be creative, yet data driven to be a manager. And I realized it's garbage. It's impossible. The best organizations and the best leaders play to their strengths. They know them. Yeah, look, and the reality is when you do that, you get more energy and better results, but you also create space for another to shine, because it's a given. Whatever you're not great at, there's someone in the world that wakes up in the morning and excited about that. Could be finance, could be selling, could be whatever it is. And so this is where I get jazzed, is helping leaders and organizations figure out how to combine and create an environment where everybody has the opportunity to, frankly, achieve their maximum self-realization, along the way delivering amazing business results. And that is so amazing to see what can happen when people finally accept it. Yeah, you know what? Look, I'm just, so you know me, I love hearing this from, for example, leader. Look, here's my blind spots. Here's my weaknesses. That's why I have Mary or Joe or somebody to fill this gap for me, because I know myself.
Yeah. And that's one of, you have all of these personality tests, but I love the Gallup Strength Finders.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Isn't that brilliant?
Brilliant. It's amazing.
Yes.
We use that. In fact, when we hire someone on our team, when we before we make an investment in a company, we'll typically do a strengths finder deep interview, Also, either and or Myers-Briggs and Enneagram. And then we'll also very often do, particularly with a CEO or founder CEO, something called the what's this other tool? I'm blanking on it right now, but a very deep psychological assessment. And it's not about good or bad. It's about them knowing themselves, us knowing them, and then having an open, healthy conversation. We, for example, use Enneagram in our firm. Everybody knows each other. We talk about it openly because it just helps lighten the conversation, have a little bit more fun with it. And there I go, being a 7, right? Yeah, I'm going to be enthusiastic. I'm going to be energetic. I'm going to be positive, right? And thankfully, we have others on the team that, in fact, we've hired to fill others on the team that complement, those of us that are already here.
I love this. Mark, can you believe we are almost at the end of our time?
No, I can't. Wow.
What I like to do is I just want to take myself down and give you a few minutes to give some closing words to our listening audience, let them know how they can find your book and also connect with you, because I believe you have a new community that
I've had such a great response from the book. So the book's available on Amazon.com, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Freedom. And I have a website just set up, markrampolla.co, which is, we just had such a positive response on the book. I'm beginning to create a private community that will allow mainly entrepreneurs, but also other leaders to share, to learn. I'll be sharing some kind of behind the scenes things that I'm learning and experience with myself and the companies I support. And then, create a community where everybody does this work, get to know themselves better, get to accept themselves, learn some of these tools, share some of the learning, all with the objective of building freedom more into, everything we do. And then on the investment side, part of our hope is that, some of these companies will, get great results from this work and get to a phase where Ground Force Capital might be interested. So that's groundforcecapital.com. I'm also pretty active on LinkedIn, but not really any other social media.
Thank you so very much, Mark. I so appreciate you taking the time to grace Power of the Pen with your presence, with your brilliance. I encourage everyone, get this book. I think right now it's all about innovating, right? And reimagining what it can be and what life can be and your business can be. So
reimagine, rethink, recharge, that, and it's a long, beautiful life, and you are where you are. And I tried this book, I think, meets people where they are, wherever they are in their journey.
I love it. Well, thank you again. Thank you so very much, Mark. Look what I have here. The Leadership Advantage by Joel D. Smith, How to Cultivate Leadership Skills That Drive Success. And ladies and gentlemen, can you believe I actually got him to say yes to this interview? As busy as he is, I don't want to steal his thunder because we're going to get into it. But the great thing about this book, and I know you're thinking, there's a ton of leadership books out there. There are. Just like there are thousands and thousands of leaders around the world. But what makes this so important today is the pivotal message and how Joel has managed to take his lived experiences, his strategic insight, his background as a leader, his military experience as a pilot, his coaching experience, his role in the community, to package all that in a nice little ball that he's getting ready to toss to you. And I say toss to you because when you read this, it gives you some aha moments. You're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, wait a minute. I'm listening to this. I'm hearing his story. How does that now relate to me? Because the one thing that he challenges us with is that as leaders, we're ever evolving. He says that leaders it's not about the title or the position. It's all about mindset. So let's talk about challenges, because a leader, it's one thing to lead in good times, but it's another thing when there's challenges that happen. It may be a merger. It may be you have employee turnover. It may be a new administration, taking office, and everybody's wondering what's what. Would you mind reading from chapter 3? It's entitled "Kicking Off the Real Talk on Facing Challenges."
Well, certainly. And I'm pick up about midway through the first writing, The Waves of Adversity.
Okay.
Adversity pushes us out of our comfort zones and forces us to innovate, to think on our feet, and to find resources we didn't know we had. It's during these times one's leadership is tested and true character is formed. More often than not, the lessons learned from traversing these tough times provide the wisdom we need to handle future challenges with greater ease and confidence. The ability to maintain composure, to remain optimistic, and to lead others through uncertainty becomes a testament to our capability and resilience. So next time you find yourself in the midst of what seems like an unrelenting storm, remember this too is an opportunity to enhance your leadership repertoire. Embrace the chaos, learn from it, and let it remind you even in the tumultuous waves can lead to new shores and of understanding and strength. Each wave ridden adds a layer of depth to your leadership ability, turning potential adversity into a series of opportunities for personal and professional development.
I love the analogy here where you said, embrace the chaos. And even the most tumultuous waves can lead to new shores of understanding and strength.
Yes.
And I often, when I'm sharing and doing some teaching, I challenge individuals. I said, there are going to be waves, right? They're going to come. Either you're going to be on the sideline wondering what there was a wave, or you're going to be in front of the wave and hopefully being able to ride the crest of the wave. But the last thing is you don't want to be overtaken by the wave.
Correct.
And I think, and I'd like to toss this to you, in this situation, it's so important for a leader to have a line of sight, right? There's chaos, but how do you help create calm among the team in the chaos?
One of the biggest things that goes unstated and underestimated is the power of laughter. When you can honestly say, yeah, I messed that up badly, and laugh at yourself, to become vulnerable in that season and let your team see that vulnerability, that, hey, the boss is not perfect. Therefore, it's not that, yeah, I want you to go out and make a bunch of mistakes, but can we learn from this mistake? We don't want to go back and keep repeating them, but this was a learning and opportunity. Every bit of chaos, every bit of adversity, every bit of the waves and the storm lies a lesson. The question that you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to dig deep and find that lesson and learn from it? If you can do that, then yeah, you have that ability to go ahead and laugh about it. Yes, I messed this up big time. We won't make that mistake again. Okay, we laughed at it. We got it. Yes, it was a low, but even in life, even in the Word of God, we're the hills and the valleys and the mountains. You're going to go up and down throughout life. What lessons are you learning on that journey?
You talk about the role of a CEO, but it's not chief executive officer. It's chief encouragement officer. And this is what you wrote. Yeah. As a leader, one of your most impactful roles is that of chief encouragement officer. We could just call it what it is, head cheerleader. The role isn't about empty pep talks. It's deeply rooted in genuine belief in your team's potential, especially in those times when they are filled with self-doubt. And I want to share this with you. I had a meeting today with an individual, and she was talking about some of her work that she did, some of her contributions and accomplishments, but she seemed to really struggle with that. And I was wondering what was causing her to be insecure. And it made me wonder, it brought me back to this passage. Whoever is around her in her leadership or mentorship arena, has that person lifted her up, given her that sense of encouragement so that she can speak confidently? I'll turn it over to you.
I would have to concur with you in your thought processes and thinking whether that was something that actually was taking place. What I like to think of when I hear such questions is, yes, you're the chief encouragement officer, not just the chief executive, or you're the head cheerleader, just as you read. Now, having said that, you have to walk that fine line initially, because anytime you come into the room as a cheerleader, folks start looking at you, okay, what's really going on? Especially if it's something that they've never experienced or never have been around. So you want to come in encouraging and motivating, but at the same time, you want to tailor it to your people. You have to get in the room and actively listen. And once you've learned your people, then you should know how to motivate them, how to encourage them, how to cheer them on. But to cheer them on, you have to give them that leeway to go out and innovate, to go out and make mistakes, to take risks, but to understand that it is okay to take a risk as long as it stays within line of the company values and the things that are taking place within the organization. The organization is still moving in the correct path. Yes, you can take these risks. Yes, you might make these mistakes, but I'm going to keep cheering you on. Now, if you keep making the same mistake, that's a different thing entirely. But you're okay to make these mistakes. You're okay to do these things, and understand that I am in your corner and I'm going to cheer for you, even when you're struggling. And when you're a good cheerleader, when you're a good head cheerleader, you're a good captain, your teammates know that they can come and sit down and talk to you, that they know that you're going to listen and that you're willing to lift them up and encourage them, even in times of struggle.
I don't know why I have a tickle in my throat, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. Well, we are almost out of time, and I want to turn this over to you. I know you wanted to close with a particular reading, and then I'd like you to speak directly to the audience about how they can connect with you, how they can be part of your program, perhaps have you come speak, teach within organizations, and also how they can get a copy of your book.
Okay. In my experience leading teams, I found that the most turbulent rides often yield the richest gold mines of learning. True leadership isn't always about steering clear of rough weather. Sometimes it requires us to fly right through it. This approach isn't about courting trouble, but about forging a stronger, more cohesive team ready to face whatever challenges come next. The metaphorical bumpy rides we encounter in leadership are invaluable for growth and team building. Rather than dodging these challenges, embracing them can teach us resilience and adaptability. It is not in my job description to avoid the tough stuff. On the contrary, navigating through these difficulties is precisely my role. Each challenging situation tests our resolve and pushes us to innovate and collaborate more effectively, ultimately strengthening our team's dynamics. Being a leader involves much more than setting the course. It requires stewardship of the values and virtues which epitomize exemplary leadership. In the expansive skies of our professional journeys, fully embracing our role as leaders means recognizing every trip, especially the challenging ones, present an opportunity to enhance mutual understanding, foster unity, and continually aim high. Each difficult journey offers a unique chance to deepen our understanding of one another, to align our efforts, and to reinforce our commitment to common goals. It's about more than just surviving the storm. It's about emerging from it with a clearer sense of purpose and a stronger bond. This unity is crucial as it transforms our group of individuals into a formidable team, equipped to tackle future challenges with confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Joel D. Smith, and I'm the CEO of the Wolfpack Leadership Initiative. My book, The Leadership Advantage, How to Cultivate Leadership Skills that Drive Success, can be found on Amazon. I'd love for you to reach out to me at thejoelsmith.com or at J225Ventures at J225Ventures.com. I am available to come in and teach workshops. I'm available to come in and do keynote speaking. I'm available to come in and discuss the book and how I can help you and your teams grow closer together, being a part of that wolf pack. For as Rudyard Kipling said, the strength of the wolf is the pack. The strength of the pack is the wolf. I would love to continue to grow with you. Leadership today is changing faster than any other time that we've had, and leaderships face complex challenges. Through a shift in your mindset, we'll be able to tackle all those challenges. Challenges are not unique to any of us. They change daily, they change weekly, they change monthly and yearly. Your ability to adapt and overcome those challenges and those changes will set you apart from all other leaders. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Joel, for joining us on Power of the Pen. This has been so rich. And folks, I just literally just touched the tip of the iceberg. This is really a book. I sat down and I read it in a day and a half, but it's really not that type of a book that you read from cover to cover. Then you want to go back, right? And study it and think about it and see how can you apply certain things, whether it's improving your communication. You know, what kind of leader are you? Are you a CEO? Are you encouraging others? Are you seeing yourself as me, myself, and I? How do you navigate challenges? There's just so much. And then just really understanding the Wolfpack philosophy. I was like, wow, this is so cool. So again, thank you so very much, Joel, for joining us. I want to make sure everyone can see we're here talking about The Leadership Advantage by Joel Smith. You can contact him and you can get his book on Amazon. And here's his contact information below, thejoelsmith.com or J225Ventures at J225Ventures.com.
Yes.
Again, you can feel free to, if you're interested in being on Power of the Pen, reach out to me. Phone number is there below, or you can email me with Power of the Pen in the heading. A member of our team will reach out and make sure that what you have is a great fit for our audience. We're here to make a difference by bringing innovative conversations through the power of the pen, and the leadership advantage is one of those avenues to shift change, to make a difference, to make an impact, to build legacy in leadership so that we can build future leaders. Right, Joel?
Amen. Yes.
Well, thank you again. And to our listening audience, we look forward to seeing you next week for another edition of Power of the Pen. And just remember that in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, you have an opportunity to go to Amazon and buy this book. Success is inevitable. Until next time. Bye for now. Thank you.